Hello everyone, happy Saturday. Welcome to another episode of Hello Again with me, Broomy Ghost of Christmas Past Broom, because I've got a dodgy one of those ring lights on and it's very white. I hope I'm not scaring my guest today, author Mel Sherratt, bestseller extraordinaire. Hello Mel.
Hello.
Thank you for coming to join me today. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm very jealous of your wallpaper.
Oh,
It's incredible.
I love it. It's only recently been done. It's been up about a month now, and I just come in here and sit in here and grin. It's just so nice. Everything is book related, every single thing in here. I took a while to go shopping and pick different things. Yeah, so
amazing. I like your little writer's cave. Although it's quite a posh cave.
Look at this though. Just can you see that? Look.
Wow.
Tiny little details. It's in the details.
It is. That's so funny. The book I've just finished writing, actually, my central character is interior designer, and I learned so much about kind of little details and themed things and colour themes, and I love it. I might retrain.
Yeah.
Well, obviously I'll still write books, don't worry everyone. Anyway, we're digressing. Can you start by just telling everybody a little bit about you and the kind of books that you write?
Yeah, I'm going to start off with saying hi, I'm Mel Sherratt and I'm a writerholic, because I'm now going to be publishing my 20th book next month.
Wow.
And I started in late 2011. I've written police procedurals, I've written psychological thrillers, I have a series called the Estate series. There's 4 books in that, and it's basically women's fiction cross crime. And I also write as a pen name as Mel Sherratt, which is women's fiction. So I've done quite a bit across the board, really.
Wow, a lady of many talents.
I hope so.
I was going to ask you about writing series, actually, because I mean, I struggle when I go through my editing process, as everybody on here will know. And by the time I get to the end of an edit, I'm so glad to see the back of my characters. I'm like, just get away from me. I never want to see you again. And I don't know, like a lot of people say to me, oh, are you going to do a sequel? And I just think, no, I don't want to spend any more time with those people, even though I love them dearly. I was just wondering how you find that, going back to the same characters, and do they ever frustrate you with their sort of decisions and behaviour?
I'm not quite sure if they frustrate me. I think it's more when you do a police procedural, you've got a certain way that you have to go and you have to follow their procedure. So there's obviously a team that you can mix up, and then I tend to do books over 3 or 4 rather than sort of like 15. Like a subplot will go over 3 or 4 and finish, so you don't have to get too bored of it, to be honest. But the subplot will involve probably the main character and then the team around it. So as I get to know one person from the team as well per book, if you know what I mean. So I've got the overarch that I get to know. For instance, with Grace, there's an overarching theme in that, with her family is an estranged family, or criminals basically. So she wants to get close to them, but she doesn't want to get close to them. So in each book, she sort of, is on the edge of trying to get information from them, but not trying to be too much of a cop, and to get a happy medium between them. So for that respect, in that series, I thoroughly enjoyed being with Grace and learning a lot along the way. The one thing I would say to you, if you're writing a series, is start a series Bible from the beginning, because I never did. It's literally, I have, with my Marcy Steele books, I have a proofreader who actually then puts me each chapter breakdown. So I don't have to go then back and read every 5 books to know that this character is now doing this and this character is now doing that, because with the police procedural, you are stuck with that one, you are with that one character and that character story. With a series like mine, it's a bit like Coronation Street. So I've got several different characters in there that I have to remember where they are. So I had her do a series Bible for them. So if I do want to go and write the next one, I can just literally read 4 to 5 pages rather than going back all the way through and thinking, was that? And also I have an A to Z book with all the characters in there. So I've just got the names and if they've got a dog and if they've got white, brown eyes and things like that. The amount of time that book has just been so useful, just to flick through and think, she can do that. I'm okay with that. That's line of thinking.
Because you do forget, don't you? I mean, I forget, and I've only got a sort of handful of characters. I'm thinking, what's her mum's name again? Where does she work? And I've written the bloody thing.
Yeah, and it's like being a parent.
I have to go looking back through, going, oh.
Yeah, it's like being a parent, trying to remember which title's which as well. Yeah, you know that one. Like, yeah, you talk about taunting the dead, I mean, only the brave, and like you've gone through all the titles before you've got to the one that you want.
Oh no, it's such a weird alchemy of, yeah. I mean, it's a strange process, isn't it? It really is. A lot of authors tell me that they get inspiration from things like true crime documentaries, those real life magazines. You know, My Wife Is My Cat's Ghost, and that sort of stuff. Do you use anything like that, or do you get more of your inspiration from real life?
I read the magazines. I read the women's pages, the women's problems pages. And I'll start with an idea from something like that. But majority of the time, to be honest, I hear something on the news, and then I think, oh, I'm so bad, because I think, oh, I could really twist that story into something else. It's somebody else's bad news, but that's the way I do it. I always remember Mark Billingham saying, no news is bad news to a crime writer, because they'll always think, that's a shame. But if I twist this and make my own story up. So it does tend to be something, or I'll hear a line from a song. A lot of the time, I had a book called Written in the Scars, and that was a song with Pink and Nate, and that was called Written in the Scars. I think it was called Written in the Scars, but there was a line in it that said, "Oh, just give me a reason." The song was called, and there was a line in it that said, "Written in the scars of my heart," and that gave me the whole book. The whole 3 or 4 characters that I have in that book just came from that one line, written in the scars. So sometimes it can just be something as simple as that.
You line in the song, that's amazing. Song lyrics are really, really powerful. And I was thinking this the other day. I was listening to Taylor Swift, as you do, and her lyrics on her new album are just amazing. But there's so many songs that you don't, especially when you're younger, you don't even think about what they're saying, do you?
No,
you go back to our age. Yeah, and you think, oh my God, I used to just sing along to that when I was about 12 years old, gaily, not thinking about what it was actually, what the meaning was. I suppose it goes right back to horrible, macabre, you know, what do we call them? Nursery rhymes. That can be really horrible, you know, about people falling down dead, and you're just going, la la la.
Happy as Larry.
No, brilliant. So let's talk about your incredible success for a minute. Your bestsellerdom. Do you ever get blasé about all the Kindle storming into the top? No.
Absolutely not, honestly, because it took me so long. It took me 12 years of rejection before I actually got a book out on Kindle, and I self-published that myself, because I couldn't get anywhere with the traditional publishers. It still blows me away now. And even when I pick a copy of the paperback up, it's like, wow, that's still my book. I hope it never changes, because I don't want to ever lose that. But no, it always still surprises me, and I absolutely love it. And I've not had a number 1 yet. I've had, which sounds quite funny, I've had 2 number 2s. Well, I've not had a number 1, and that's my ultimate goal. But yeah, it still blows me away. It still blows me away what people say when they send me messages. It's just great.
Yeah, I think it's all about that, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we all complain about bad reviews, and bad reviews are difficult, but actually a nice personal message from someone that's enjoyed it can eradicate 10 horrible, snarky things on Goodreads, I think.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Because it's so easy to complain about something, and I think we live in a nation of complainers, don't we? People love to have a win.
I saw a post on Facebook the other day that was saying, I hate this in a book, what do you hate? I sat there, and somebody said, I hate prologues. I hate it when they recap the characters in each book. I hate it when they do this. I'm thinking, for every hate on there, somebody loves that. And you have to sort of like distance yourself. And I always want to go in and say, as an author, this is quite refreshing, because each to their own, everybody reads a book differently. So what you don't like is what somebody else will like.
Yeah.
How do you decide how much is enough to put in and how much isn't enough to put in? And basically, every single person will read a book in a unique way. So just write what you want to write, and write what you want to read, because somebody will always diss it somewhere along the line.
I think there's a lot to be said for a sort of writer's gut feelings as well, because sometimes I don't know about you, but I've come up against things in edits where I've got a sort of really strong feeling that I'm going in the wrong direction, or just when I'm writing a first draft and I have to stop and say something's wrong. I don't know what's wrong, but I need to go away and think about it. I can't put any more sort of hands on keyboard at this stage. And it's so weird, isn't it? It's quite hard to explain. Some
I also,
story that you envisaged just isn't coming out.
yeah, and I also add things in and then take them out and then put them back in again, because I realise there's some way that definitely needs to fit, and I'll think, oh no, it doesn't work, it doesn't need to work, and then I think I'll lose 6,000 words and sob in a corner, and then actually the next day you think, oh, that does work if you do this, so then you're gonna have to put it back in again and do it. But that's the only way sometimes I can make things work, is to put them in, take them out, put them in, take them out, and eventually it either stays in or it doesn't, and something else evolves. Or
yeah, I say this a lot to people. I say sometimes the only thing you can do is write your way through, because you have to tell yourself a story before you can pick out what's important from that story.
Yeah.
And I think that's because I was a sub-editor for years and years and years. You know, when you're a sub-editor, you get given a body of words and you have maybe 2,000 words to fit into a 1,500 word slot, and you've got to understand what's important. And I think that is, I don't have any qualms about slashing thousands and sometimes tens of thousands of words.
If you need to do it out.
Yeah. Draw.
But it's always useful for something else, isn't it? You always find that little nugget will take you either to another book, or that whole idea will just transpose to something else.
Yeah, I've got like about 20 Word documents on my laptop that are just like train journey to airport and stuff like this. I've probably never used, but I just keep them there just in case.
Yeah, me too. All of them, they will come sometime, and it's great to start a novel where you think, oh, I've got 7,000 words already that I can think of in 2 weeks. Win.
You have do you carry like a notebook for all to jot down ideas, or do you use your notes on your phone?
I use my notes on my phone, but I must have about 180 by now. It's like ridiculous. And I've got like ideas on this book, and then ideas for 5 books, and then a title page. If I hear a title or something, you know, like from a song, I'll just jot that down. And yeah, I've got way too many. It's ridiculous, isn't it? But it's good, but it's ridiculous.
I sometimes forget they're there though, and find them sort of years later. Tasmina Perry told me she has a sort of folder on her desktop that's just called Plan B. And whenever she has a big idea for a book, or even if it's a different genre, she'll just go in and do a few notes and then just save it into there.
I like that.
She collates them.
I really like that idea, Plan B.
Yeah, it is good, isn't it? I've got one on mine.
Yeah, I do that.
About 3 things in there, but I'm going to build it up.
If I transfer all my notes over from my phone, I'll be okay.
Yeah, exactly. Where do they go? They're all in the cloud floating around. Oh dear. Do you ever find you suffer from writer's block at all?
No, apart from what we've just been talking about, when something isn't working and I have to go and sit aside for it. To be honest, I sit and write most mornings anyway, so by the time I go, I must work through and sleep, and then I'll wake up in the morning and most of it's sorted out. So I'm not a big planner as such, but I do have a beginning and a middle and an end, so I sort of know where I'm going. So even if I do veer off a bit, I do know where I'm coming back to. Well, like for instance, that plot I just said, I took out the words and then put them back again. That is the only time I ever get stuck or I suppose when you're doing police procedural, sometimes you can get stuck on procedure, and you want that to work, but the procedure won't let you because the CCTV camera would catch you, and you've got to be realistic about it. So I have to think then, okay, how can he do that without the CCTV camera catching him? And so I have to just sit back, and that's what I do, get blocked sometimes doing that. But that is a huge jigsaw puzzle. It's quite fun when it's all fitted back into place.
This is what scares me about doing a crime book, even though I'd love to, because I've got so many ideas, but I don't know how to even begin to structure something like that. And I wouldn't be able to do police procedural. I'm just like, oh no. I
don't think I would, to be honest, but I used to be housing officer, so it was very much like the job I used to do before, apart from the actual arresting people for, you know, and solving murders. But you know, the best advice I can give anybody if you want to write something is just read all the books, because the minute I start reading all the psychological thrillers, all these ideas come out at me. I think, oh, I could do that, and you do take it in. So maybe read 10 of them, and you'll get an element of what fits and what doesn't.
Yeah,
you have no problem whatsoever. If you can write a book, you can write a psychological thriller.
She says. Just gotta make time to do it.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
It's all about the time. Although we've had quite a lot of time this year, haven't we? In essence. Although if anyone says to me, "Well, you've had all this time, you should have written at least 3 books," then I will.
I have.
I'll string them up and put them on my tree. That's what will happen. My Christmas tree, not just a random tree. Are you doing Christmas early this year? Are you buying into that?
My husband's decorating in the kitchen at the moment, so I'm just leaving him to it. So he's just decided that the kitchen needs decorating. So once we've done that, so I'm ordering all the tablecloths to go with it on the Christmas table and things like that. So, so I would imagine they'll probably go up this weekend if he's finished.
Yeah. I'm gonna go all out. I'm just going to vomit Christmas all over my house. I have no shame whatsoever.
I am going to buy myself a Christmas outfit. I am going to wear it on Christmas Day with pride. I'm going to walk around. I am, yeah. You got to do something, haven't you?
I found this really awful jumper. It's like so bad it's good in a charity shop, and it's like long brown and cream, but then it's got loads of camels on it and diamante. That's going to be my Christmas jumper this year.
Okay.
I know. There'll be photos. Now, before we go on to the quickfire round, can you just give us a little rundown of your new book, which is, by the time this chat goes live, will be out for sale?
Yeah, it's called Good Girl. It's the 4th book in my DS Grace Allendale series, and it's going to be the last one actually. So I've tied up, as we were talking about earlier on, I put a subplot in book 1 that is now going to end in book 4. So I sort of married a lot of what's going on in book 1 and book 4, which has been a bit of a headache to do. But basically the story is about 2 16-year-old girls walking home, and one of them gets attacked and dies, unfortunately, and they are in the alleyway where they live. So basically they live in across the street from each other, and their mum and dads are best friends. So I wanted it to be something that happens in the community and how it affects them, basically. So it's all the story about what happened before these 2 girls walked into the alley, and you know what was going on. I really wanted the series to go out with a bang, and I think it does. I think it's a very, very emotional book. It's had some brilliant reviews, but they're all saying it's quite dark. It is a really dark subject. The subject matter from the first book was about grooming, and it's finished. I never intended to write it. It was just one of those stories that came out. I don't know whether I was watching something on the news and it happened. So the story actually finishes off that whole tale in the background. So it's never too graphic. I never do the graphic things, but I certainly make you think what might be happening when the doors close behind them. So
it's one of those situations, isn't it, that it could happen to anyone.
Yeah, and I also spent a lot of time with the 2 mums, because you know, one of them, one of the children has survived, one of the daughters has survived, and one hasn't. And what does one, you know, how do you react to your best friend if it's your daughter that's come home and your daughter hasn't? So I really wanted to get inside the heads of the families as well. So.
And it must feel quite emotional to be at the end, like if that's going to be the final series, to say goodbye to those characters as well.
It was. It's got a great ending. I really, really enjoyed it. It's got a nice ending for Grace. Very much so. Yeah.
Right. Let's do 3 or 4 of these just to finish. Little quick fire. I should have done some Christmas themed ones really, but we have talked about Christmas bit. So, question 1 is, your writing career highlight to date. Good one. I like that.
This is going to sound really, really weird, I suppose, but I was doing a panel for Kindle Direct Publishing in 2017, and I was invited to Althorpe House, and they did a Katie. Please get my teeth in. They did a panel in this most amazing room. I have never had a room. I've done a panel before with ancestors, big pictures on the wall, and the chairs and everything were amazing. But we were there for the weekend, and we were booked in a hotel, probably about a mile or so away. And the Earl of Spencer came over to us and asked us if we'd like to stay overnight. And we literally, well, it's the first time ever my husband has gone anywhere with me, because I tend to go to London on the train, but I don't drive. I do drive, I don't like driving. So he came down with me, and we ended up coming out of this hotel and moving in to the house itself and staying there. We had our own butler. It was just incredible. We went down to dinner there was about 50 of us on this huge, huge table, and there was all sorts of people there. There was, I'm going to think of the names now. oh, my mind's gone blank. Anyway, there's just so many people there. It was just so
Up the crowd.
yeah. And in the morning we went to breakfast. We went down to breakfast, and all the family were there. They had breakfast with us, and then the last part of it was, and I know this has got nothing to do with books, but this is what it led to. We were allowed to go around the pond where Princess Diana was buried in the middle. And it was just the most surreal moment ever. I can't ever explain. I don't think anything in my career will top that day. It was great my husband was with me, but it was just phenomenal. It was amazing. The panel was really, really good, but yeah,
Diana's been on everyone's minds again, hasn't she, because of the crown coming out?
Yeah, and also when we went, it was the 20th anniversary, so there was lots and lots of flowers and letters from people. I was quite emotional when they got like a seat that they sit on at the top, and we were just looking at that. And it was one of them weekends that we just came back and were like, and I still got so many photographs that the room that we stayed in was just incredible. It was just amazing. And it was one of them the memories that I don't think I'll ever forget. And it was just like I said to the guy who from KDP who would do the panel with, so where are we going next year? Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just,
you can't better that, can you? Downton Abbey maybe next time.
So apart from book wise, I think it would be, my highlight would be Taunting the Dead, because that was the very first book I published. I couldn't get a traditional deal. It was the 5th book I'd written, and I put it out on Kindle for 99 pence at the time. Back in the day, it was 2011. Didn't even do any advertising, just said to people, because I got a blog then called High Heels and Book Deals. It was quite, I might bring that back actually. It was, so I got quite a bit of a following, and it was when Twitter was lovely that you could talk to people rather than people arguing with you. And I just put that book out, and I don't know whether a lot of people bought it because they wanted to see why it hadn't sold, or because I'd done my journey online for 4 years trying to get the book published, and it just literally within 5 weeks was straight in the top 5. And I think that was probably one of the proudest moments ever, because like, oh my gosh, I had a message off Ian Rankin, and he just like said, oh, I've read your book, and he really dropped off the chair. What? So yeah, I think I always called Taunting the Dead my door opener. It definitely changed my life.
You for having faith in yourself, because that is a massive part of it, I think.
Yeah, I think you have to go.
Part of why a lot of people will never actually finish writing a book. And you had written 5. That's insane.
Yeah, hard. And I think 3 of them had been, 3 of them were the estate series. I've got 4 in that series now, but 3 of them were the estate series, and they'd all been out to editors and not got anywhere with them because they were cross-genre. They didn't know where to put them. They were women fiction, crime. They're very much like a Shameless meets Coronation Street. That's how I call them. So they're quite women's fiction, very, very happy ending type of thing with a murder or something in there, and they didn't know how to market them. So I actually then, once I'd done Taunting the Dead, took those 3 books out and put them onto Kindle, and that was the first year I was there. And I sold 200,000 copies within a year, and that's when all the agents came after.
Yeah, I bet they did. Yeah,
it was like I just put this one book out, hoping that somebody might buy it, to think, well, actually, you can write a book. It's just these, people just don't want to buy it, sort of thing. The publishers didn't want to buy it, but
it's such a complicated system, isn't it? When you sort of peel back the lid, and each publisher has a list, and on that, and so many for each genre and all this kind of stuff. So sometimes somebody really desperately want to buy something and they can't because there just isn't the space. And like you say, when it comes to sales and marketing, it can be very boxed in.
Yeah, they were. I can understand now. It is
partly in the way that shops are laid out, I suppose, that they want that clarity.
It is, and it is a quite hard series for me to sell as well, because even the keywords and the metadata on KDP on Amazon, they don't actually match what I do. Now they've got one called Mashup, which is quite okay because it's in between the two. But at the time, there was just no genre it would fit into, so I had a bit of trouble selling it at first, and then all of a sudden that just took off as well. So
maybe one day books will just be books again. Just break the mold. It's a good story. Like it's dramatic. Right. Okay, let's go. We'll go for another one. Question 2. Oh, what's your signature dish? Nothing to do with books.
My favourite dish, spaghetti bolognese. So British. Well, it hasn't even British, is it? But yeah, I am. So I love spaghetti bolognese, as long as it's got lots of garlic bread.
Did you get involved with that thing on Twitter, the big debate about the spaghetti bolognese recently?
No, missed it.
Some heathen man put a picture up of like part cooked
Carrots.
food with massive big chunks of red onion that were raw. And everyone was going, oh, and having breakdowns about it.
No, somebody say something about carrots.
Yeah,
No,
you have to have
carrots.
carrots in it,
Yeah. No.
You know.
I don't make it from scratch though. I'll hold my hands up. I never make it from scratch. But, yeah, I use the sauce. I make the rest from scratch, but I use a ready-made sauce.
Ooh, why not? They're nice.
I burn everything else. Literally.
Okay, final question. Oh, this is a good one. First thing you'd buy if you won the lottery jackpot. We'll go for like a full 10 million.
Oh, 10 million.
10 mil.
Do you know what? I really don't know. I have not got a clue. Isn't it strange?
You've got your writing room now. You don't need anything else.
It's easy. I've got a lovely house. I'm really, really, proud of this. But I don't think there's anything apart from moving to a bigger house, or and helping other people, because there were that much money. I don't think I'd be able to spend it myself. But I'm stumped.
I'd put on a massive book festival, like to rival Harrogate. Yeah, something like really showy and a really good place.
Of free books, all the books free, all the
Yeah.
How about you? What would you do then? What would you do with your big win?
With my big win, what would I do? I'd probably ring a couple of ex-boyfriends and just tell them about it and hang up. Not that I'm bitter or anything. No, I think it always comes back to travel for me. It would be travel related. I'd go and see all the things that I really want to see, but I'd do it in style, I think. And then I'd write about it.
I'm quite a home bird, me, so. Yeah, I suppose that, think about it. If we could use it in style, you would get whatever you want.
I'd also buy a really good car, because my car is a piece of crap. It started doing that thing, when the indicator breaks and it goes tick, 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 tick. So every time you turn the corner, you feel like you're going to have a panic attack. Oh, God, get around the corner quick. It's so ridiculous. It's just falling apart one thing at a time.
Do you want to do another question?
Yeah, let's do one more. We'll do one more to finish.
We go right or whatever.
Put them back in. I'll probably pick the same. Oh, do you have any writing rituals? Do you like candles, or surround yourself with colourful post-its? Or
I don't have any rituals as such, but I can't write unless it's complete silence. I cannot have anything in the background. So I do, like I said, I'm very lucky now to have an office where I can sit down and I can just shut everything down. But I suppose I do have a ritual. I have to go on Facebook and I have to go on Twitter and I have to look at me before I can start anything, because they will nag at me if I don't. And I have to switch them off completely then, and then just sit. I do most of my writing within a 3-hour bubble. After lunch, I just can't. Can't get my head around it. So I'll have a look at things first, and then I'll sort of allow myself to get everything out of my head. Let's have a look what's happening on Twitter, and then try not to look in between. But other than that, no. I used to buy myself something when I'd written a book as well, where I published a book, and now I can't really think of anything to buy after I've got 20 books out. It's like,
just it can be something small though, can't it? I do it as well. It'll be like, I don't know, a pair of shoes that I've wanted for ages, or even just like a facial, or something, I don't know, just like a treat.
I'm going to have to think this time. Well, this is the 20th book, so I probably need to splash out on this one, but I can't really go shopping at the moment, can you? I'll have to buy it next summer.
Save it for next year. Right, I've taken up so much of your time. I feel like I could keep talking all day.
Yeah, me too. I've enjoyed it. Thank you.
You need to go and have a look at your kitchen.
Yes, I do. Yes.
Oh, thank you so much, and thank you everybody for watching. Make sure you pick up Mel's book. It's available. Tell us, Kindle, Amazon. I mean, all e-tailers, all good retailers.
It is 10th of December.
Yeah, but please do support local if you can through bookshop.org or hive.co.uk to support all those poor booksellers in lockdown, because we don't want them to go away.
No.
All right, I'll stop preaching now. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.